So back again, all different locations this time, apart from myself. And you're fresh from Texas, Joe.
I am fresh from another week, another year down in mid somewhere Texas, mid nothingness of Texas, and luckily and happily went back to back winning Rattlesnake, which was yeah, it's always weird going back to a race you've just won because there's only one thing you can do which makes it good, which is win. So it's kind of like it's almost in a way not a lose-lose, but going into it, it's like, oh no, if I don't win, it's pointless. But no, I was happy. I was actually very happy to come away with it. So yeah, a good start to the season after what I'm sure we'll go to in a second of Sensebai ended two crashes, awful. First week in the States, cancelled wildfires. So third time lucky with a win. Yeah, it was very much needed psychologically.
And
Yeah,
an absolutely amazing result, really, when you
yeah.
think a stronger field, target on your back this time, and still delivered the goods.
I'll be honest with you, I was kind of like not worried, but I can't think of the word apprehensive maybe because I didn't know how I was going either. And it's one of those, it's not that big of a race, so you can't really hide when you're the favorite. And it's a shift in psychology, like to going from how can I be sneaky to like try and get away or try and get in a move to this race is mine. I'm the defending champion. We're gonna race how I want to race. But it like in a weird way it means there's more pressure than a bigger race. But yeah, it was very much enjoyable, even though in the 32, 33-degree heat I was an absolute shell of a human being. But no, it was all good fun, and when I went big risk. Where Tech sort of had a double track section, I almost offed myself about three or four times in 12 minutes. It was very much I win or I go head over handlebars, and I was close multiple times, including one time coming off basically a mountain bike drop off in this private ranchland, just landing on my front wheel and somehow managed to bring the back end back through. And I was like, oh, that was pure luck and not skill. But you kind of, when you're, God knows how long into a race, 104 miles in or whatever, you're not really thinking that straight. It's just go and go fast.
Awesome. Brilliant result. And I know we talk a lot about making sure we separate outcome from performance. But that doesn't mean that we, just sort of ignore the outcome when performance has led to it. So congratulations, Joe. It's just outstanding.
Thank you.
Uh,
Yeah, and it's always nice to win. Like you forget often that we're doing all this to win, like in everything.
yeah,
So yeah,
yeah.
it is
That is
nice.
the purpose, right? Yeah. I mean, we are trying to win. So yeah, I think there's nothing worse than you listen to I'm thinking about rugby, like um, England sort of post-match interviews after they've won, and it's like, wow, God, it's almost like apologizing for winning, and oh, let's just focus on getting better. And it's like it's okay to celebrate a win. I mean, that is the purpose of all this. So well done, Joe. It's awesome.
Thank you. And that I think that's the other thing in cycling as well. There's like often like 100 plus of us on the start line. So imagine going into every rugby game when you've got a 1 in 100 chance of winning. Um, you kind of you forget how hard it is to win at any level. Like I've won races at the top level, one races kind of at the grassroots level, and there's a weird reason your brain still it wins a win. Like it doesn't really know the difference when you cross the line. So, so yeah, it's always nice to also get the win checked off in the first race I finish. Like the first time I crossed the line first this season. So that's nice and ticked a target off for the season in well, not in race one because I messed up race one, but in the first actual race. Um, anyway, the first race of the year, Centerville. I crashed the first day, ride to the finish, start the second day, crash the second day, ride home, and I'm in a very angry man. Call it quits. But I'm like, anyway, warm up race, whatever. Head out to the US at the start of the year. Um, head out to gravel camp, it's great. Then to Mid South, which is without doubt my favorite race in the world, my favorite event in the world to start the year with. 8 hours before, 9 hours before, wildfires hit. We have to evacuate our house. race gets cancelled. There's a whole lot of more story there, but too long didn't read. Race got cancelled due to crazy wildfires and a couple of neighborhoods getting burnt through on course. We drive to 6 hours to rural Texas. It's stonking hot. And like, I'd been riding in snowstorms 4 days before, and I'd gone from snowstorms to wildfires to 30 plus degree Texan heat. And it just, my body doesn't go well in all of these rapid changes. And I was kind of a little bit worried going into it because I hadn't had a full bash out kind of power testing or race result before. So it's almost like walking into the unknown of performance. Um, so we know how this race goes. I won it last year. Like I know how to win it. Course has changed a lot, but the first climb is always really important, and it's where I'm best probably. Alex has got this really interesting modeling research, which I don't massively understand it because I'm not the PhD researcher, but essentially it can show an athlete's battery and how much you've got left in the tank in the very simplest form. So he modeled how I could effectively deplete 95% of my battery, but get it to a point where I could still recover and then go again after the first climb. So we tried to do all this like fancy modeling with this new research, and it worked perfectly on paper. And then we hit the bottom of the steep climb. My legs just felt absolutely magic, like insanely good. And I just attacked, looked down at my power meter. I was like, oh, I'm doing about 25% more power than what was predicted. Maybe this is good, maybe this is bad, because if I'm going harder now, I can't go hard over the top. But I switched from science-based kind of planning to pure instinct and just went and kind of raced the rest of the day on instinct because there was not, yes, the science worked, but the science almost gave me confidence to go off the instinct, which it's kind of all of the moments before I was doubting myself. The second I switched to that racing instinct, it was like, oh, what are you doing, Joe? Why are you being stupid doubting yourself? Like, this is what you do and what you're good at. And then I split it pretty early, and it was a crazy race. It was actually really fun. Not the hardest race because of the heat, but we were like scrambling over gates and through private land, and it's a really, really cool small race in the middle of nowhere on roads or trails you're not allowed to ride usually. So nobody had any clue what was going on. Like you just reach a corner and there'd be a sand pit here, a massive drop off here, and like a tree in the middle. Or the final double track, there'd be a bull on the side. And you're like, well, I hope it doesn't run at me. So it was very much the full Texan experience, and I felt awful the last hour and a half. Like there was a point in the race I actually looked at a rock, multiple rocks, and was like, I should just smash into that and punch her. Because if I punch her, I can just climb off. Um, I had one eventually, and again, I was going to wait for a sprint because I wasn't that confident, but instinct kicked in with 15 minutes to go. I was like, screw it. What's the worst that can happen? And attacked, and yeah, stayed away. And it's really funny. You go from like massively overthinking to the second you're racing, it's like there's no thinking. It's just flow state, which is such a good feeling.
Nice. It's making me think about planning versus execution, like putting a lot of effort into planning. Um, it's really important because it just gives you the confidence to then depart from the plan. And
It,
yeah,
it's like we've spoken about data in the past. Like the data gave me the confidence to try and do it, but equally, the data was kind of pointless in the end result because it was raced purely off instinct. And if you look at the power file versus the plan's like here and the power file's like here. But then the final hour, the plan's here and the power file's down here because I've overheated so much. So say the data is all well and good and definitely plays a big part in the planning. But I think there's also something to be said about throwing the plan out of the window and trusting your own instinct and gut, which isn't always, as a quite a conservative bike racer, something I've never been good at. In fact, when I used to race on the road, I was told I think too much, and you need to just start racing with instinct, which is kind of it's nice to take that to heart a little bit.
yeah. I mean, there's an old adage about project management and project planning that says, that it's the project plan is not what's important. The process of planning is what's important. going through the detailed thinking to make the plan actually gives you everything that you need to react more intuitively when you're when you need to make decisions. And so yeah, nice.